time it is. Y'all know what you already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. All right, people, we live, uncut, unedited. Come on in, people, come on in. Live, uncut, unedited. This is where we tell the truth and shame the devil. All right, that's what we do. Tell the truth and shame the devil. And one thing about me, I don't know about you, but I love being black. Don't know about you, but I love being black. All right, people. All right. This is live, uncut, unedited. We got a special guest coming in today. He's going to talk whatever God lay on his heart. He said, and I appreciate him. You know, we've done a lot of work together, still do work together, and I appreciate him. And this is live, uncut. I want to thank my Facebook family for coming in this morning, and my YouTube family and Twitter. We all over the place, and we just trying to get the word out. And it is what it is. Some folks are mad. They mad because you don't think like them, you don't walk like them, you don't dress like them, and don't talk like them. They're mad. They're mad. They are definitely mad. And I don't care about what nobody say. Every man for themselves and God for us all, in a sense, when we come to individual thinking. You know, I got friends that's on the other side. They vote for Paul Strong, and I'm not going to stop talking to them. That's their thing. But I like my choice. See, you got some folks, they're straddling the fence because they're afraid. They're trying to figure out which one do they know that's going to win before they come out and support. That's what they are. But see, the race is close, and some people are nervous. They can't get no money. Now, Paul Vallis ain't passing out no money today. It's at the finish yard. If you didn't get your money right now, you probably won't get it. You probably won't get it. This is live, uncut, unedited, people. Come on in. Let's talk about it. Let's be about it. I tell you, let's be about it. Let's be about it. They mad tonight. They are mad tonight. I ain't mad at nobody. Mad this evening, if I may say. I appreciate you, Marcus. Let's get it on, Marcus. We ain't gonna wait on nobody. Let's talk whatever you want to say, Marcus. Is all right with me. Let me know. Is it an echo? Everything is good? No echo?
Okay. So far,
go ahead.
All right. So I want to get this off of my chest because attention this morning. I'm not going to call the person's name because it would only be fueling fire. Those of you who think that I'm choosing to back because of Martin G. Johnson, you don't know Marcus Robinson. You don't know where I've come from and the family that I'm in. I come from a black family that knows what it means to be black in America. My mom would pick cotton at age 5. Her brother, her sisters, they're all Mississippi. They lived in an all-black town called Mound Bayou, Mississippi. The jewel of the only existing black town still standing. However, it has lost in its high school. The white folks have been trying to bypass that town highway. Many of you all are familiar with Highway 61. It would take you right. So to now that I've given you the rundown, they taught us about politics. I didn't learn it from J. Mall or anybody else. Politics at the age of 5 years old, just like I was blessed with the gift of the age of 5 years old. Curiosity. And I got interested. I remember my mother was saying, she stood behind President Jimmy Carter. She said, Jimmy Carter has helped a whole lot of poor black people get what they need. That was when I was 5 years old Now, she educated me about the Atlantic at the time, and then you had Jane Byrne, who would later take his place, were duped into backing Jane Byrne, and Jane Byrne broke every promise in this city. Okay, she didn't do black people no good. She went to live in Cabrini, stand black people, as one of Martin's callers put it, or I believe it was caller put it. You can't live in a projects to understand black people, because all black people in Burn never picked cotton a day in her life. She don't know the feeling of going out to the cotton field. And I never had that opportunity to pick cotton, but I'm glad I had that history lesson at home, not in CPS. I was taught the real Black history. So for you all that I'm backing Brandon Johnson because of Martin, you don't know me. Brandon Johnson because I believe in keeping that seat black. I voted for Lori Lightfoot, and I voted for her because I felt we already had a black person in City Hall.
Marcus,
and let's give her 4 more years.
Marcus, they say your connection is bad. Make sure your connection's up. They say your connection is bad. They say your connection is bad. Make sure your signal. They say your connection is bad.
Oh.
Look at your signal. Because you're skipping.
Is it choppy?
Yeah, they said it was skipping or something.
Oh.
You got Wi-Fi, right? Put it on your Wi-Fi. Make sure it's on your Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Yeah, it's on my Wi-Fi. All of my numbers.
Okay, how the bars look? How the bars look? The signal bars.
It's 5.
Oh, you good? Bars. Well, go ahead. Let's try it again. Because
okay.
It's not. It says skipping.
It could
okay.
be that I'm talking. You know how they try. How do I sound now?
You sound good. Go. Just give me a mic. Say mic check. Mic check.
Mic check. Mic check.
It's like a delay on your end, not on my end. It's like a delay. Like I don't know. Yeah. Try it again. Come on. Just keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Mic check. Mic check.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So, as I was saying, for those of you who don't know me, I am not backing Brandon Johnson because Martin Johnson is backing Brandon people because people endorse other people. That's not how I vote. That's not the way I was. Well-educated family, and I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. My family town in Mississippi called Mound Bayou, the Delta, the jewel of Mississippi. My mother would tell me stories about how she picked cotton. And one of the stories she told me was one day her father and take shots for black men in their back. And so he had to go to Tunica, Mississippi, waiting in the car. She got thirsty. She saw water running. She got out the car and went. This big old fat white sheriff walked up to her, put his real girl's head, and called her the N-word and said, "You little N girl." This is how hatred is. And so I was taught Black history at an early age. They taught us about the struggle. And they taught. Another thing my mother did, she came up here, met Careful, I believe, mayor at the time, trying to unseat Mayor Daley Sr.
Marcus.
On doors.
Marcus.
To get black people to sign a petition.
Marcus, do me a favor. Use your Wi-Fi. See if your Wi-Fi is better. Take off your, not Wi-Fi, use your cell phone data. Use your cell phone thing. Let's see how that works. Cut your Wi-Fi off.
I might have to go blank for a second, but hold on.
Okay. All right, hold on. Because I want people to hear you.
All right.
Yeah. Live on unedited. He'll be right back, people. He'll be right back. So we want to hear, folks going around talking about I'm influencing. So what if I'm influencing if they want to vote for Brandon Johnson? What, you're mad because nobody listened to you? You're mad. All right, this live, uncut, unedited. Folks mad. They mad. Folks mad, y'all. Folks are mad, people. They are mad. Waiting on Marcus to come back. Folks mad. They mad. They mad. They mad. This is live, uncut, unedited, people. They are mad. All right, I see him. He's back now. I hear it. All right, all right. All right, Marcus, you
All
back.
right, I'm back.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you see me?
Yeah, I think that's much better. Testing.
You can hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Yes.
All right, so let me start all over, and I'm gonna be brief.
Start all
Speed it
over.
up.
Go ahead. Start all over. I don't care. Go ahead.
Okay. This morning, some people wrote under my timeline thinking that I am backing Brandon Johnson because of Martin Johnson. I'm listening to Martin. They brought Martin into the name. First of all, let me say this. If you got a problem with Martin, reach out to Martin as to who he's backing. I come from a well-educated family, a family that knows what it means to be Black because they come from the cotton fields of Mississippi. My mother's side of the family grew up in Mississippi, Mound Bayou, Mississippi, an all-Black town, still standing today. But they've lost their high school and they've lost their hospital. To make a long story short, they taught us politics at a very young age. I was taught politics at 5 years old. I was taught about the president. I was taught about the mayor of Chicago. I was taught about my city. I was taught about the alderman, the congressman, and all of that long before I hit any school. And while I was in school, that's why I stayed at the head of my class, because I had a strong Black parent who believed in education and believed in teaching her kids about politics and how this city operates. She was a poll watcher for Metcalf, who was running for mayor to unseat, I believe, Mayor Daley Sr. at the time. And she was knocking on doors. And one of the things she told me is that she didn't understand Black people up here. They asked her, what is Metcalf going to do for them? Mayor Daley Sr. paid their gas and light bill. They were going for Mayor Daley Sr. And look at what Mayor Daley Sr. has done to your great-grandchildren. You wonder why these kids are out here carjacking? Because the Daley administration took the trades out of the public school system. The Daley administration destroyed the Black community. And so I know politics. I didn't just learn it from J. Maul. I didn't learn it from nobody. I was taught at home politics. And maybe you don't like my choice, but my choice is Brandon Johnson. That's who I'm voting for. That's who I have voted for. That's who my family is going for. From my mother, sister, to cousins that live here, they are voting for Brandon Johnson because we know the struggle. We came up during the Harold Washington era, and the Black community was 100% unified during when Harold Washington was running, but there was still some Black people who didn't like Harold Washington because if Harold Washington won, he was going to cut off their money. And now a lot of you all are afraid that if Brandon wins, he's going to shut down your money train. And he should, if you're selling your people out. He should shut it down. I would rather have a person that's being backed by the CTU than to be bagged by the FOP.
Martin G.
Hold on, Marcus. Let me sign back in.
Live.
Hold on 1 second. You're doing great.
Broadcast.
I just wanted my phone hung up.
You speak, please turn down all your audio.
Hold on.
Turn them
Great.
off
Good.
or down, and do not have us on speakerphone so we won't have an echo, and we'll be with you shortly. Thank you so much.
Please enter your PIN number followed by the pound sign.
Okay, we're good, Marcus. Go ahead.
All right. So
Your conference will begin shortly.
Go ahead, Marcus.
all right. So you all really don't know me. You're assuming that I'm going along with somebody because I'm friends with them, because I speak to them. In that case, I'd be backing Paul Vallis too. I speak to J. Maul and treat him nice. So I don't follow other people's leads. That's why I say Black people don't need a leader. We are our own leaders. But some people feel that we do need a leader. We don't need a leader. They can kill that one leader. You see what they did with Martin Luther King. You see what they did with Malcolm X, Medgar Evers, and just to name a few. And even today, they will character assassinate you for speaking the truth. They don't like it when people speak the truth. That's why they put muzzles over the slaves' mouths. to keep the other slaves from causing the other slaves to rise up against them. Aren't you tired of seeing these videotapes and people yelling F the police? Some of the same people who are out there yelling F the police are now standing with the police. It shows me what type of leader you are. So why would I follow anybody black because they're my color? And I'm not following Brandon Johnson. I'm not saying that Brandon Johnson is going to be the black Jesus. I'm not saying that Brandon Johnson, as soon as he steps in office, is going to work a miracle and bless every black person in the city of Chicago, because the reality is that isn't going to happen right away. We blame Lori Lightfoot, but here's the good thing that Lori Lightfoot did for us. She stopped them from suspending your driver's license over bogus tickets that the Chicago Police Department was writing on parked cars in neighborhoods like Inglewood. Like Inglewood. I grew up in Inglewood. And you could have everything right on your car. They would write a ticket and put it up there anyway. I remember the police came to our house one time in Inglewood and told us that they were called because we were bringing in too many bags. These people got neighborhoods slated where they know how much money is coming into your neighborhood. And they put a limit on it. And if you make over that limit, they're going to make it hard on you. Your gas and light bills are going to go up. Your taxes, you're going to pay more taxes. And another thing that's going on, we need to address. How can you clear your credit when you can't get a good job to clear your credit, but you need a good credit score to get a good job? That's racism in itself. So how can you all back somebody that's standing against your existence and you're so scared about the immigrants? Let me put a little bug in your ear. The immigrants been here ever since I learned photography, or before I was even born. They've been coming over here on the boats. Your goods been coming from overseas. You're the only one that's blind. The American jobs been outsourced years ago. And the same people who were saying they're going to build a wall was the same people who was bringing the immigrants over here. I don't understand how some of you all don't believe in giving your own people a chance. You're the same people who say go buy black and you go hire somebody white to do what a black man can do. How can you say go buy black? And these kids out here, some of them ought to be ashamed of themselves for being out here in the streets, contributing to making the black leadership up here look bad. I voted for Kim Foxx the first go around. I voted for her for the second go around and will vote for her again. She is not the cause of me being carjacked. That young black man who carjacked me, who knew what he was doing and willfully did it, is the one who is responsible for that. And the police department who gave him a lesser charge. So how can she go to court and prosecute anybody when they're charging somebody with a misdemeanor when they should have been charged with a felony? How can she do her job if the police department isn't doing its job right? This is what's going on out here. When they don't like somebody, and Martin can agree with me, the chief of police and the fire chief resigned when Harold Washington got in office. They resigned. They resigned because that's how deep their hatred was. You hate people because of the color of their skin. You hate yourself. You got a problem with yourself when you hate people because of the color of their skin. We fought. This country is standing today because our people fought their wars. We sent people to the moon and brought them back. We are brilliant people, but we are ignorant when we stand against our own kind. What race goes against its own kind? Then you protest Asian stores because you don't understand why they don't hire blacks. Well, look at it. They're taking care of their race first. They don't mention black and brown when they come to them. They mention their people. We don't pay attention to Asian activists, but I read one of them's commentary, and it makes perfect sense. They believe in taking care of the Asian man first. Why can't black people do the same thing? Take care of your own house first. Quit trying to take care of somebody else's house and clean up your own house. Quit worrying about if Martin is influencing me and you go to the polls and vote for who you want to vote for. I'm not going to hate you because you voted for Paul Vallas, because at the end of the day, whoever gets that seat is going to be affected by the problems and will take the blame for everything. No one person will be able to honor all the promises that they're making. He's promised that he will unseat Kim Foxx. He can't unseat Kim Foxx. The people voted for Kim Foxx. So the people have to vote to unseat her. What they want to do is make her look bad before the white voters so she can't get that white vote, because the black vote alone is not going to keep her in office. But some of you all who are standing against Kim Foxx, if I remember good, you were for Kim Foxx years ago. Now you are standing against her, and you believe that we should have a white state's attorney. White state's attorneys don't do nothing but throw people under the bus. They throw black men in jail because the jails are getting rich. They're stocked in jail. And they're not going to stock the jails with their people. They're going to stock it with us. Slavery is still going on in this country. It's going on in a legal way. You break the law, they lock you up. They waiting on you to break the law. That's why they letting these kids do what they do. Because like I said before, while Lori was in office, when they unseat Lori, they're going to put somebody in that seat that's going to lock these kids up. And if these kids ain't paying attention to this election, you better be paying attention to this election, because whoever gets in that seat, they're going to come down on you. And shame on you if you have made black leadership up here look bad. The chief of police was made to look bad. They don't like the Cook County Board president because she's black. They don't like Kim Foxx because she's black. And they sure didn't like Lori Lightfoot because she was black. And some of y'all black people didn't like Lori Lightfoot because she's openly gay, which is stupid to me. Mayor Daley was reelected and reelected several times. A lot of white people didn't like him, but they kept their seat white for 20-something years. Mayor Daley was endorsed by major black news organizations, black ministers. He was endorsed by them, and black people voted for them. But I not one time voted for Mayor Daley. I did at one time vote for Rahm Emanuel, because what I saw was he was bringing in these stores in our neighborhood and kicking these Arab stores out of our neighborhood that was selling rotten meat to us, that was mistreating our kids, that was bringing drugs into the community as well. They didn't care about our neighborhood. So that's the only thing I liked about Rahm Emanuel. I will not blame Rahm Emanuel for closing all of these schools when it was a part of the Daley administration. Go Google Renaissance 2010. It was supposed to have been way more schools than what was actually closed. And some of those schools closed down before Rahm even got in office. I'm not going to blame Lori Lightfoot for the crime. Chicago has always been a bad city. It's been bad ever since before I was born. The gangs up here was killing each other, going at it 40 North. They would run kids. They would kill kids. And I'm keeping it real. You cannot stop crime overnight. Crime is a mental thing, and the people who are committing the crime has to want to stop it themselves. These young people, aren't you tired of wearing shirts with your loved ones on it? Aren't you tired of going to the graveside, pouring whiskey on a body that can't drink? I'm keeping it real with you. They can't hear you. They can't see you. They can't drink the whiskey. So you're wasting the whiskey. Aren't you tired of doing this? You're grieving. Well, then stop it. And when you say it's never going to stop, you speaking it in existence. You have to speak that, yeah, my generation is going to stop this. We're going to sit at the table. We're going to stop this self-hate. We're not going to follow people who endorse other people. We're not going to vote that way. Don't vote that way. April the 4th will decide this election, but I will not let this election squash my friendship with any of you all. We can disagree and we can have our issues, but I will not let this election split or change my character. But I just want to clear up something. I don't vote Martin, nor anybody else, nor any other activist or friend of mine has influenced my vote. My vote is my vote. And I got my own brain and my own intuition, my own mindset. I sat back and I watched this. And honestly, we didn't really have no real candidates running for mayor. We need somebody that's going to come out into these communities and knock on doors, not just go to these big churches. But if I was running for mayor, I would have been in every neighborhood in Chicago, knocking on doors, greeting the people that's strung out on drugs, greeting the people that's homeless, greeting the people that gets up every day, don't have a job to go to, but they go to the expressway with a cup in their hand. I would have been right there with them, shaking their hand, asking them, what can I do as mayor that will change your life? That's the type of campaign that I'm talking about doing. And that's getting out in the community, getting to know people, getting to know the people that you're going to serve. If the police department will practice that, you would eliminate this manufactured hatred that has been manufactured for decades and probably centuries. You will eliminate that. You need to be out walking the street. You need to get to know the community that you serve. You're riding around in your squad cars and you just see people and you judge them. They judge all of us as thugs. They judge all of us as criminals. The day I was born, I was a criminal, and my parents committed a crime for having me. That's the way they see it. Get out in these neighborhoods and engage with the people. Damn the photo ops. That don't mean nothing. Engaging with people. There are some great police officers out here. Let me say this. I do not hate the Chicago police. I hate people who put on that badge and exercise their racist behavior and think that they're above other people. There is no superior race. We're all one group of people, and we all need to learn to get along with each other and quit hating each other. We need to get along with each other. And Black people, you should never forget your past. The Jews will not let you forget what Hitler did to them. Why are we trying to let America forget what America did to us when a Jew will tell you that what was done to us is worse than them? It was an atrocity. And it's still being done to us. Hitler ain't alive to do what he did to them. But we are still looking at statues that remind us of what they did to us. We're still reading the Constitution in school that reminds us. We're still saying a Pledge of Allegiance. We're still singing a national anthem that glorifies the killing of us. We haven't fought hard enough to stop that. If America truly wants to change, it shouldn't be a debate. It shouldn't be an argument whether statues should come down. America does not have a statue of Hitler hanging in a public park. Why should we have a statue of any of these Confederate generals who fought in the Confederate Army hanging in a park, or even have a park named after them? For Black people to constantly be reminded of who they were, what place they was in, and what place they're still in America. Young men, quit making these prison owners rich. Quit making sons that's, excuse me, guiding other young men to go to jail. So many young men are getting killed, and it's sad. It's sad. And Brandon ain't gonna stop it. Paul Vallis ain't gonna stop it. Joe Biden ain't gonna stop it. We expected Obama to stop it. Obama couldn't stop it. It's a killing machine. Even if you ban all the rap music, it won't stop it. It has to be stopped in the mind, and morals have to be taught at home. And some of you all need to get off drugs and raise your kids. Quit expecting the city, the police department, the preachers, the teachers, and everybody in between to raise the kids that you help make. You need to step up. And for Black men who come down on single mothers, then quit running off and leaving them to be single. Take care of your responsibility and raise your son. You know who you had sex with. A woman should not have to carry you to child support court and force you to pay to take care of your child. If you're a real man, step up and take care of your children. You know who you had sex with, because not having a father in the household creates this melee that we're seeing on the streets right now. Mm-hmm. These young boys are looking to be accepted and loved. And if they're not getting it at home, they're going to go to the streets. Me and my cousins, we got it at home. Play games with your kids. Don't always drop them off at the park or the camp. You be the camp counselor. You be the teacher. Take your kids out to eat. Show them how to eat. Show them how to set the table. Give them chores to do. Help them clean up. Even the apartment building that you live in. We lived in an apartment building. My mother and my auntie used to make us clean from the first floor up to the third floor. We had to mop the floor out. They weren't being paid by the landlord. We lived there. So they got tired of coming into a messed up lobby in the building. What did they do? They gave us a chore. We had to sweep it, mop it, clean it, every floor from the first floor to the third floor. Take time to be with your kids, and they will develop a love for you that they won't have you running down to the police station to get them out. They won't have you coming to the morgue for you to identify them, because they love you to that much. And even if they do decide to go astray, they will come back to their senses because you raised them and they have a loving home. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to live in a mansion. You don't have to drive a fancy car. Make the holidays the best of the moment. Make the holidays the best of the moment. Yeah, Christmas got its issues. People say it's a paganist holiday, but it's a day when family gets together and be amongst each other, family and friends. Thanksgiving has its issues, but it's a day that family and friends get together. Even Halloween has its issues, which I don't celebrate, but it's a day that children dress up and their parents take them out to go trick-or-treating. Those are the best moments. Take care of your kids. Don't expect the schools and the camps to do it alone. Develop a relationship with your kids, and maybe that will cut down on this crime. But even that won't stop the crime. Believe it or not, we're dealing with a spirit, two spirits. One is good, one is evil. We're dealing with the devil, and we're dealing with God. So teach, most important of all, before I stop, teach your children to love God. Teach your children to believe in God. And how, whatever name they call him, whether they call him Yahweh or whatever, they're still calling out to God. Teach them to trust and believe in God and the Lord and Savior. Don't just take them to church Easter, Mother's Day, and Christmas. Have them going to church every day, just like you make it mandatory for them to go to school. Make it mandatory that they go to church or have church in your house. If you don't want them going to a church down the street, have them to read a scripture to you before they go running outside. Have them to pray and thank God. I know a lot of people don't believe in God, but whatever you believe in, teach your children some moral respect. Teach them to love the world around them, and they'll think twice before they pull a trigger and kill another brother. They'll think twice before they rob somebody of their car. Teach them the value of hard work, because there's people out here who worked hard for their cars, their cameras, they cell phones, their equipment, and for somebody to just walk up to you at the blink of a minute and take everything that you worked hard for and prayed on, it does something to you. But I refuse to blame Kim Foxx or Mayor Lori Lightfoot or the chief of police. And I ain't gonna blame it all on the Chicago police. If anybody is to blame, it's the young man that carjacked me. And I know that in the end, he's going to lose more than I ever lost. And another thing he will have to deal with, he doesn't realize it, but when State Farm get through messing up his credit and he come to his senses and want to buy a home or get a good city job, and they send that little notice around saying you have something on your credit that's affecting your job, you either clear it up or you will be terminated. That in itself is going to affect him. So you think you're getting away, but you're not really getting away. I got another car. I got another camera. The only thing that was taken from me that makes me mad is our own people out here doing it to each other. And even in this election, if you want Paul, go with Paul. Don't clown on nobody else because they're not going with Paul. Don't call them ignorant and stupid and say they don't know. Well, if we don't know, educate us. But I'm not going to be extremely mad with you because you endorse Paul Vallas. That's your choice. Endorsements in this day really don't mean anything. If a person got a mind of their own and choose to vote for who they want to vote for on their own, that's all that matters. And April the 4th will decide this election. God be the glory to whoever get in this seat, and may God guide them to make the right decision on behalf of all of us. Because you got white folks out here who think that their agenda is going to work and it's going to destroy black people. They have launched everything on us to destroy us, and it ended up backfiring on them, destroying them. If you would just cut the racism out and we can come together as a people, America is made up of all type of ethnicities. If all of these ethnicities came together and eliminated racism, we would be a strong country that God has smiled on and God will protect. But America is racially divided. And until then, ain't nothing going to change in this country. We're going to continue to have these conversations. There will continue to be videotapes of police brutality until legislation is put on the book that will make that individual officer responsible. And when that individual officer, food is being pulled out of his family's mouth because of his ignorance and his stupidity, then it will change a lot of things. And just like they will give you the death penalty if you kill a police officer, if a police officer wrongfully kills a person because of the color of their skin, they too should get the death penalty if we're going to issue the death penalty. But George Ryan, he was governor. A lot of black people didn't like him. But what he did good was he eliminated the death penalty here in Illinois because he seen that it was flawed. And he didn't want that blood on his hands. And that was a good thing. And right behind that, they came up with the pay-to-play scandal and the accident on the expressway that got him out as governor. It was really about the fact that he eliminated that death penalty. You got to think for yourself and go on your own gut feeling. You may not be 100% right, but even Blagojevich, Rod Blagojevich was doing good for black people. They didn't like that. Illinois itself is a racist state. Chicago is racist. And we have to admit that we have a sickness here so that it can be healed. You have to admit that you're sick and go to the doctor and tell the doctor what's wrong with you. Well, we have to admit, America, that America has a sickness called racism. And when we admit that, we can start the healing process. And even you as an individual, you have to go to God and tell God how you feel. One thing I've learned, you don't tell God to bless your enemy when your heart says you don't want your enemy blessed, you want your enemy punished. When that kid carjacked me, I didn't tell God to bless him. I told God in solemn prayer to deal with him, to take the anger out of me when I think about it and deal with him. Because when you do harm to people, you're harming God. When you harm somebody that God created, that God blessed, when you steal from somebody that God blessed, whoops, I went off, Martin.
You did?
Come
You
back
still,
on.
oh,
Here I go.
Go ahead.
When you steal from somebody that God blessed, you're stealing from God. Think about that. If I call you a name, I am calling God a name, and you ain't did nothing to me. If I hate you for no reason, I hate God. God created you. And let me say this, black people, God created white people too. Not all white people are bad. Not all, it's good and bad in every ethnicity. It's evil in every ethnicity. Crime don't just happen in the black community. It's happening in the white community. Did they just not catch a white guy up north for pulling a gun on somebody for their car?
Mm-hmm.
They talk about getting tough on crime. Well, when they talk about tough on crime, they really mean cracking down on black folks.
That's what they mean.
The war on drugs was a war on poor black folks. They give a few of us peanuts. They give a few of us peanut butter and jelly, even salad to go along, maybe a little fried chicken and a Pepsi and a Coke. But the masses of us are suffering because of the sellouts in our community.
Preach.
We don't need turkeys, coats, and toys.
Mm-hmm.
We need resources. We need to be able to function on our own. We do not need to be depending on another race to function. And all you black young men talk about how bad you are. You don't own the filtration plant that purifies the water that comes into your house. You don't own the gas lines that heats your house. You don't own the power lines that brings light into your house.
Preach.
You're not all that bad.
Mm.
All you big time rappers, as rich as some of you all are, you don't own those resources. We talk about black businesses, but black businesses don't have a warehouse to warehouse their stuff. These other races do. The Arabs even have their own manufacturing stations. What do we have? We have to buy from them. We have to buy their things. Here's another thing we don't have. We don't set our own standards of living. What they say is fashion is fashion. But if we create something, it's not acceptable. It's not sellable.
It's ghetto.
It's not gonna work.
It's ghetto.
Because it's not gotten their approval.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Martin.
Okay. Thank you, Marcus. You could just hold on for a minute. Erica, go ahead, Erica. Erica wanted to say something too. You can read the comments, Marcus. Anyway, Erica, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey everyone.
Hey,
Yeah,
Erica.
hey, what's up? So do y'all hear echo? I hear one again. But yeah. So I just Marcus, thank you so much for everything you shared. Thank you to all the listeners. I've been really listening to everything, and I just wanted to comment on a couple things. So Marcus, like the things you were saying, it's something that I hear commonly as an organizer when I go into our communities and talk to particularly Black people who are older about the "it starts at home" thing, which is true. The home is the first place where a child learns. It's where a lot of the problems spill out into the community. But I think what we sometimes miss is the symbiotic relationship, the connection between what happens inside of a home and what happens outside in society. Because it's all connected, right? The type of society that a parent lives in, the type of jobs that are available, the type of income they can make, whether they have to work 3 jobs to make ends meet so they're not available to their child versus a good paying one job where they can come home at a decent time and be a parent makes a difference. The type of mental health care available and things like that makes a difference in the type of parent that's going to be in that home. And so one of the things that I think has, and actually Dr. King's daughter, Bernice King, actually talks about this, is something that really plagues us, I believe, today. And it's called respectability politics. Respectability politics, which is basically the idea that if we just pulled our pants up, if we just, wore suits or ties or looked better, acted better, behaved better, that, we would have a easier time in society as Black people. Now, while we should do those things, we should be better parents, we should go to church, we should pray, we should do all the things you talked about, Marcus, teaching our kids to clean, teaching our kids to be respectful. None of that is stuff we shouldn't be doing. We should. But what Bernice King, Dr. King's daughter, talked about was, she said, they murdered my father while he was wearing a suit. And I wasn't alive back then, but the one thing I do know from looking at history, there wasn't a more respectable time of Black people than back then in the 50s and 60s. Black people used to wear dresses when we went out. We were some of the most, especially around white people. We were scared to be disrespectful around white people back then. We were so respectable, but yet we were still brutalized intensely by a system. And I think that, when I talked earlier about the difference between when you want to kill a toxic tree, which is the tree of the gun violence, the tree of the poverty, the tree of all of the things we're seeing in our Black community, we tend to chop at the branches and the leaves and the fruit, and we want to pick off the rotten fruit. But when you do that, it just grows right back because we're not getting at the root. And the root is white supremacy. The root is racism. The root is generational trauma, generational demoralization of our people. So if we don't get to that root, it don't matter what suit we wear, it don't matter what dress we wear, it don't matter how much we pull up our pants. We can be the most respectable Black people in the world as we were in the 50s, and they will still find a way to brutalize us. They will still find a way to disenfranchise us. And so the idea that if we change our outward behavior, this would somehow fix things is somewhat of a misnomer, because we've already, and that's why knowing history is so important, because when you think of a solution, you can look at history to see have we already tried it. And the truth is, in the 50s and the 60s, we tried that, the being a respectable Black people. And they still beat our behind. They still hosed us. And so obviously that is not the root solution. It's something we should do, of course. Why not? Of course we should do that. But it's not going to fix the ultimate problem that they want to kill us. It does not fix the ultimate problem that they still mad to this day that we not they slaves no more. And they ain't got over it since. They've been calling Black people lazy ever since we stopped working for free. So the thing that we need, I think, to look at is that we have to change the structure in which this entire system works because when we want to bring, it's not small, but it's like the things. What's the Bible say? It is the small foxes that kill the vine, or something to that effect. Basically, it's the things that we overlook that's killing the vine. For example, if Amazon came right now and said, "Hey, we want a contract in the city of Chicago to put an Amazon plant," right? The majority of our Black elected officials will be clamoring for that backroom deal. They will be like, "Yeah, bring them, bring. That's jobs, right? Jobs." But what people don't understand is bringing McDonald's and bringing Walmart and bringing Target and bringing all of these low-paying behind corporations into our communities is actually a small fox that spoils the vine. Because what it does is it forces people to work for low wages because they fight tooth and nail these corporations to pay as low as possible. They don't want the workers to unionize so they can bargain for higher wages. And guess what happens? These workers have to end up taking second shift and third shift just to make ends meet. How can you be an available parent if you got to work 2-3 extra shifts? So it's not just about bringing in these greedy corporations who want to pay us pennies and nickels. It's about demanding good paying jobs so that people can work one job and still make ends meet and be a good parent. So we need to stop just being thirsty for whoever offers a quote unquote job. We need to say what kind of job, how much you're going to actually pay to people. And so because it all connects to how available we can be to our children. And then, of course, mental health care being available to people getting healing for their trauma so they don't perpetuate it on our children. So it's all, like I said, it's all connected. We got to look at this deeper than our outward appearance and how our outward behavior is. Not that that's not important, it is. But if we look at history, that don't fix nothing. We just get beat while being respectable. That's the difference. We just get beat with our pants pulled up. That's the only difference. So we got to look deeper, y'all. That's what I wanted to say, Martin.
Okay.
If I can come back in and pick up what you said about jobs, I have always said, I say to young people, don't just take any job. I even argue with some of my people that's my age. These young people need a job. They can work at a factory. Well, some people might have allergies. Some people might not like to work around that heat. And if that factory is paying you minimum wage, you have to have a job that's going to motivate you to want to get up and go to that job. And a job like that is a city job. A job like that is working for the Chicago Park District that got benefits, that's got good pay, that's going to make you want to get up and go to work. Even if you don't like that job, you're going to like the money. You're going to see the money going somewhere. A young person told me, we don't need get by jobs. We need jobs that we can thrive. Thriving meaning that you can have a good time, which you're supposed to enjoy your life. You work. You're not supposed to just get up and go work to pay bills. That money is supposed to go for your enjoyment as well. You're supposed to be able to go on a vacation if you want to. You're supposed to have a good time. And to do that, you need a real job. A real job is not McDonald's, Walmart, and Target. A real job is what you see on the water truck, the fire department, the police department, the park district, streets and sanitation. City jobs, government jobs, construction jobs. We don't need these handouts. We need jobs. And maybe that will clamp down on the crime. But then you just have, Erica, people out here who want to commit crime, no matter what background they come from, no matter what job you give them or opportunity you give them, they would rather go out here and rob. That's just who they is. Career criminals.
Man. Y'all went in this morning, didn't y'all? Y'all went in this morning. Listen, I just want to say, man, Brandon Johnson, for me, I'm punching 5. That's it for me.
I've already done it.
I'm staying alive. You know, hey, now, like you said earlier today, Marcus, I've seen some of the same people said F12. Now you're bagging them. You know what I'm saying? F12. Talking about defund the police. You know, and listen, I've seen people. Now, first, they didn't went from Brandon, from defund the police. Now they got on his bills. That defund the police stuff didn't work. It didn't work. They see gaining momentum. They see it, and they can't stand it. They can't stand it. He's gaining momentum, and they can't stand it. You ever seen, I've not one time, I've seen at Paul Vallis rally for that many people. Not one time. Nowhere on the news. I haven't heard of that many people at a rally. But that doesn't mean that we are in the clear. You still have to go out and vote, people. Go vote. Go vote.
And if you got to work, go get it out the way today.
Yeah.
Go vote today. Why you
I don't know
not?
if you can vote on Saturday.
Today, y'all. Go vote today.
You can. I don't know if you can vote.
It's open Saturday and Sunday.
Is it? Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, the polls are open right now for early voting.
Okay. Get it out the way, people. Get it out the way. I need to go vote myself. I'll probably go vote today. Knock it out. Get it knocked out the way. And this is real, people.
Just go, and you can go to any polling place, y'all. You can go to any polling place. You don't have to go to a specific one. Any polling place you see, you can walk right in.
All right, y'all. I don't think Paul Vallis is passing this out no more. This at the end of the road now. The boys and men said, you've come to the end of the road. You won't be getting no more of this money. That's it. The people gonna have to decide who they want for mayor. If they want Brandon or they want Paul. The people are going to decide. People.
You want to know something? You want to know something, Martin? Too. You just mentioned that Paul Vallis ain't never had no rally like that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: if Paul Vallis decided to have a rally like that, that thing would look like a Trump rally.
Mm.
Yep.
And he knows
Klan meeting.
It would look just like a Trump rally. It would look like a Klan meeting, a Klan rally, with a trickle of black folks out there selling out. And it's really sad because I was just talking to somebody today, and they was talking about the Vallis for mayor with the MAGA 2024 signs that's out there. And it's a black person, and they were like, "Oh, look at this." Yeah, I guess they're a Vallis supporter, and they were like, "That somebody put this in the hood. They trying to scare the black people. This is so petty because their ideas can't win," or something to that effect. I'm like, y'all worried about the wrong sign. The sign y'all need to be worried about is the fact that you voting just like the people who hate you. That's the sign you need to be worried about. Y'all worry about the wrong sign. Because why in the world would you vote the same as the people who are anti-black, who do not like you, who do not like your people, who look down upon us? Why are you voting like them? That don't even make sense. Because I tell you what, I don't care who you're voting for, whether it's Brandon or Vallis. There's just one logical point that you cannot disagree with. And it's that the most racist people in this city, and that we know exist, who was throwing bricks at Dr. King, who was saying racial slurs at Harold Washington, many of them are still alive and well, them white people. And they still live in the city of Chicago. Yeah. And the question for you, Brandon voter, Paul Vallis voter, black person, who you think they voting for? Who the heck you think they voting for? And it ain't no Brandon Johnson.
Well, you know what?
And you know it.
Let me say this, and we gonna get ready to clear that because I got some place to be. Listen, I want to say this to all my listeners, whether you vote for Brandon or Paul Vallis. Let me just say this. Now, listen. Everybody know the real reasons. It's two reasons that they vote for Paul Vallis. One, he passing out money. Two, he making them promises. And three, they scared of the teacher union because the teacher union has gotten so powerful now. They are afraid. They got fighters. They got socialists. They're a rainbow coalition. They got gay, straight, socialists, people believe in God. They got everybody under their umbrella, and they're fighting hard. They're afraid of that. And let me say this too. Now, a lot of you guys know that Paul Vallis is not a lover of black people. Y'all know that. You know that. And I'm going to tell you, black people, if you think that you're not worried about your race, you just don't worry about what you can get, that's why you're supporting Paul. But those people that got a general concern about black people, I'm talking to black people now, they will vote for Brandon Johnson. They know it. Now, don't get me wrong. You have a lot of successful black people, but not enough. The masses is lost. You got a few Jordans and a few Oprahs and a few Obamas and athletes and entertainers, and that's it. That's it. But those few don't represent the whole race. Listen, people, If you think because you just made it over, listen, it was ordinary people such as Marcus, me, Erica, that protest back in the Civil Rights Day, that protest and march, that got dog sicked on them, water hose sprayed on them, that got hung, lynched, beat up, just for you to enjoy what you're enjoying today. So don't think that you were so great and your talent, you were so good that the white folks accept you. You did it all by yourself. You did not do it all by yourself. Trust me. And one thing I learned in this life, in this 54 years short on here on earth, that white folks do not respect cowards, they don't respect traitors, and they don't respect sellouts. Now, don't get me wrong. They'll use you until they can't use you no more. Then you know when they get done using you, you know what's up. So I'm just telling you that. Listen, who respects a person that stand up for their own race? Listen, they may not like you, but white people respect you when you stand up for your race, when you see it. And don't bring this mess we making about race. Everything in Chicago is about race. White people own all the electricity, they own all the food, the laws, everything, the military, they own everything. If that's not about race, what is, Marcus? I'm telling you. You said it earlier. They don't control the gas that you cook on, come in your house. They don't control the electricity that you cut your lights on. You name me one thing that black people own and control in this country, and if you tell me, you can't tell me nothing. That's pure racism. That's what that is. Pure racism. That's what that is. You cannot deny that. Why is it that black people don't own anything? Is it because we dumb, we slow? What is it? That's not the case. Trust me. So,
and now they're trying to do everything they can. They scared of Brandon, so they're bringing up his financial issues with the city of Chicago. They're preparing that if he do win, he won't be able to be mayor. They're trying to put Paul Vallas in place. And if that happened, then black people in this city, young and old, need to come out of their caves. They need to come in the streets and send a message to the white rich elite. We're not taking who you put in here. It's who we voted. And I will say this, not just black people, but white people are voting for Brandon Johnson too. Chicago citizens as a whole need to send a message to the 1%. We are not taking who you put in office like you plant leaders in our black community and tell us that these people are our leaders when not one of them have sat down with the entire black community and had a vote with the black community as to who we want to represent us. That's why I continue to say we are all leaders. It's just a time and a season when God will tell us to speak. And this morning, I don't care who I offend, I had to let you all know that I'm not following Martin Johnson by voting for Brandon Johnson. I'm not listening to nobody. Nobody has influenced my decision. Only somebody that has influenced my decision, you can't see him because you don't believe in him. And that is God Almighty. And he has constantly said to me that we already had one in office. We should have kept that seat black. Now we got to scramble and we got to do everything in our power to regain that seat. This is not just a racial fight. This is a fight for power. Because once that person get that power, he is not going to deliver all those promises. Yes, he will feed some of the black birds, peanuts, and nuts, but the rest of the black people will get nothing. Your kids will get locked up and hauled off to jail and be slaves. Slavery will repeat itself because not only in Chicago is this happening, but it's happening all over the country. Look at Mississippi. Didn't they just lynch a black man down there? Mm-hmm. Or let's go beyond that. Wasn't a black 15-year-old kid shot and killed in Mississippi? Mm-hmm. When is this going to stop? This is nationwide. They're trying to unseat black people, and some of you all are helping them. I know Brandon ain't perfect. Some of you all said Brandon don't have the money. It ain't about the money. It's what the people want and who they're going to put in office. And April the 4th will decide that. And I hope our people, Chicago citizens, will come out and vote for the right person to lead this city in the new direction. Because there are some people who don't want poor people in this city. They want to eliminate poor people altogether. The real rich elite don't care for poor people. Just think about that. You're only good to them for being slaves, working, slavery. That's why I encourage every young person, don't take any job. Go for the best jobs. And you don't always have to go to college to get those jobs. But I'm not going to discourage you from going to college either. If you feel you need to go to college and learn all you can and get the best jobs. But start your own business. Fight to have what you want, which we all are fighting for peace. We're all are fighting for prosperity. We're fighting for a chance in this country. This country says, in God it trusts. This country says, bring us your poor, bring us your weary. We're here already. Now we're asking this country to do something about the poor. Even in Los Angeles, on TV, Los Angeles is portrayed as this beautiful city. When you go there and you see homeless people sleeping on the street, and they're all ethnicities, not just black, they're all ethnicities. In Chicago, in America, this country has money to burn. It shouldn't be a poor person in America. Not one poor person. Not one person in America should be poor when we're the richest country in the world. And this country got money to burn. This country got money to burn, Martin. And you got people standing in food lines. You got kids waking up in cold, dark houses with their face ashy because they didn't have no hot water to wash their face with. Because capitalism said, we don't care about your kids. We don't care about your elderly. We want our money. We don't care if you sleep on the streets. You got landlords who look like us that don't take care of their property. But if you one day short of their rent, they're ready to evict you. But if you tell them about a broken window or a hole on the side of the property, they don't want to fix it. It's capitalism. It's about money. That's why you have these problems in our country right now. America lock up more of its citizens than any country in the globe, on the globe. Why is that? Because America is built on slavery. Slavery still going on.
That's right.
Just been duped.
All right, Marcus, we're gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna let Erica close us out. Erica, I'm gonna give you about 3 minutes. I got to get out of here, but go ahead, Erica. I'll give you 3 minutes to get it out. All right.
Yeah. So I just sent you a screenshot, Martin. I don't know if you're able to put it on the screen. I sent it to Messenger and texted to you. Okay. But somebody in the comments asked the question. They said, why I've seen all these endorsement campaign ads for Paul Vallis with all of the black people who have endorsed him, but I've not seen one with Jamal yet. Well, I'm gonna tell y'all something. If I don't know if Martin can pull it up, but there is actually a whole tweet from Jamal. Yeah, on the screen.
You want me to pull it up?
Tweet from Jamal.
Did you want me to pull it up?
Yeah, pull it up on the screen if you want. Yes, okay. Please, so people can see what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And this is why people coming at Jamal from the movement, because Jamal was a surrogate for Bernie Sanders. He got a national platform based on that movement. He said he was with Laquan, but now he over there with Gary McCarthy and Anita Alvarez who helped cover up Laquan's murder. And Jamal was actually screaming defund the police louder than anybody during that time. And if Martin has brought up the screenshot, y'all could see it yourself. So this just goes to show how fake and phony Jamal is and how fake and phony Paul Vallis is. Because the reason Paul Vallis won't put Jamal in a commercial and why Jamal been so quiet and silent and not been propped up during Paul Vallis' campaign, when all those other black endorsers have been, is because he know this gonna come out. How the heck did you come in at Brandon Johnson on some defund the police stuff when you done took an endorsement from the dude who ran for mayor who was screaming defund the police? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Y'all phony. Y'all fake as heck. So it's like, it's so hypocritical, y'all. It's so hypocritical, y'all. Y'all can see it right here. It says literally, I'm just going to read it. J-Mal tweeted, "We need to defund the police." And defund is in capital bold letters. Ain't hard to say. Debate 2020. And then his next tweet was a response to, "On this day in 1969, Chicago police staged a 4 a.m. no-knock raid against Black Panther leader Fred Hampton, firing between 83 and 90 rounds and killing Hampton in his bed." And J-Mal retweeted that, and he said, "Always remember, defund police," in bold letters, y'all. Tell me, these people is so full of crap. J-Mal full of crap. Paul Vallis full of crap. So if y'all want to know why J-Mal ain't been in commercials this close to the election, it's because this gonna come out. And Paul Vallis is gonna be sitting there looking crack, trying to explain that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he done offered J-Mal deputy mayor or whatever he done offered J-Mal in a position in his administration. Or you offering positions in your administration to people who were screaming defund the police, but you coming at Brandon Johnson? Make it make sense. And he can't. So I just want y'all to know that will blow the spot up. And we should be blowing the spot up anyway, because that's why they hiding J-Mal. It's all BS. It's all opportunism. These people is just full of crap. Period, y'all. Just take a look at it. You see it for yourself.
All right. All right. We're going to leave it right there. This is live, uncut, unedited. Y'all already know what it is. Thank you, Marcus. Appreciate you, Erica. Thank you, Marcus, for coming out there. And I want to tell people, if he did follow me, he wouldn't be wrong. So he made his own, he have his own mind up. His own mind. Ain't nothing personal. And I'm not mad at nobody for voting for Paul Vallis. I just know who you are. I know who you are. I know what your thinking is. You never meant what you say. The scripture said a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. And they're just showing me who you are. You playing the game of politics. In politics, Erica and Marcus, there's no permanent enemies. That's the rule that they go about. So always remember, when you're talking to a politician, keep that in your mind. Keep that in your mind. And I'm going to say something. Whenever God came to deliver a people, he never sent a politician. He sent a prophet. A prophet will say, "Thus saith the Lord." So that's what I want to get to my people. All right, y'all. Thank you. I got to get out of here. I got to go to work. All right. You already know what it is. Live, uncut, unedited. And this is what Mark tell the truth and shame the devil. I don't know about you and Erica Marcus, but this is me. I love being black. I love my kinky hair. I love my full nose. I love my full lips, my broad nose, and my comply. Thank God I love it. He didn't make no mistake, Marcus. That ain't number two. That ain't number two genders in the world. A male and a female, and you can't be in between. You got to be one or the other. You can't be both of them. And I thank God for not making a mistake with me. I got to say that, bro. I got to tell the truth and shame the devil. I got to, because I'm standing on it. God didn't make no mistake when he crafted me. He didn't make no mistake when he crafted you, Erica and Marcus. He did not make a mistake. Now, what you want to do with your body, that's on you. He give you free choice. You free to choose if you want abortion. You free to choose if you want to change your gender. You free to choose to vote for Paul Vallis. You free to choose to vote for Brandon Johnson. Whatever your choice is, that's your choice. God gave us free will. And God, let my will be thy will. That's all I want. That's all I want in life. And may I be found not guilty when I close my eyes in death. That's my testimony. Thank you guys so much. I love all of you guys. I appreciate you. I want to thank the trolls for coming on here. Thank you so much. You've done up and make my ratings just go up and up and up and up and up. And for those of you that tried,
I just heard you got 20K more followers, Martin.
Yeah,
20K.
Yeah. Listen, and for those of you that that don't follow me, you're welcome to follow me. If I block you on Facebook, you can go on YouTube and follow me, and you can, that'll be your redemption. Then when you graduate from YouTube, maybe I'll bring you back on Facebook. But so it's good. It's good to be alive in the land of the living. Hey Marcus, I ain't got no hate in my heart against nobody, brother. Even those that don't have my best interests, I don't hate them. But I can love them from a distance. And like Brandon Johnson said the other night, Erica, Marcus, you can witness, he said, it's still room at the table, but your seat just going to be a little short. That's all. That's it. Exactly.
Yes.
That's exactly what he said. That's what he said. So people go out and vote. Brandon Johnson, push 5 if you want to stay alive. Push 5. I'm got to go. Matter of fact, I might go and cast my vote today and get it over with so I can run around to these polling places.
Go to the polls, y'all.
Yeah, go to the poll.
Open. The polls is open, y'all. Go now.
Go now. That's right, Erica. Go now.
Go now. Don't let the weather stop you.
That's right.
Don't let it stop you on the 4th.
Don't let the weather stop you. Go now.
All right. That's right. Thank y'all so much. Well respected to everybody. Thank you, Erica. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I got to go, y'all. I'm out here for real this time.